Hello, welcome back to Exodus. We've got a very exciting series of events that are about to happen. If last session was any indication whatsoever, there was, the building on fire, Sid was about to get shot, Klaus has got the Tommy gun out. It's gonna be a trip. Before we jump into everything, though, I want to give everybody a chance to introduce themselves and their characters, starting with top left, which is me for this one. So I'm Raven. I'm the creative director for the Raven Evermore, which is my brand for all the various things that I do, most of which are tabletop related. You can find out all about all of those things at my link tree, which is in chat, or if you're watching this later on the Fantasy Network, you can find that at linktr.ee/the Raven, just like it says below my face. That's also my Twitter. Yeah, I play Niklaus, more commonly now either Nick or Klaus, depending on which way my resistance roll goes. He experimented with some stuff, and now he's sort of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type character. He's a lot of fun. Klaus is currently behind the wheel, which is the more chaotic, homicidal, impish kind of character. So I'm pretty excited about that. Before I pass it on to the rest of the cast, though, a quick word about sponsors, which I'll also throw into chat here. So first one being Fundamental RPG, it looks like this. You can pick up a copy at Amazon, or if you want the digital copy or free character sheets, you can go to coffee.com/raven/shop. Just like it says at the bottom of the screen, just add /shop to the end of that. And the music was a little bit too loud. You can pick up a digital copy there, or free character sheets as well. You can also find Intrepid there, which is another sponsor, which is adventuring gear for real life, athletic, outdoor, casual wear, coffee mugs, a whole bunch of really cool stuff like that, all with either an adventure or tabletop kind of theme to it. And then Die Hard Dice, which is incredible dice. I'm currently using Die Hard dice for tonight's game. They recently sent me over a prismatic rainbow set. It looks kind of like that. I don't know if you can see it on the camera super well, but it's a really cool set. You should definitely check it out. And if you'd like to get 10% off of your order, you can use the code BlackFeatherMay. That's all one word, capital B, capital M, and that will get you 10% off your order. So very cool stuff. All the links are there in chat. And then I will pass it on over to Rowan. Tell us a little bit about Pepper Ann and yourself.
Hi, I'm Rowan North. I'm a freelance illustrator and art educator, and I play Pepper Ann. She is a few fries short of a Happy Meal. She's been through a bit in her life down here under the sea, and she's a little kooky because of it. And no, don't hold it against her, but that leads to her being a little weird and a little off kilter. But yes, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And then yes, tell us a little bit about Bambi and yourself.
I play Bambi, who is a slut. Bambi darling has made significantly terrible life choices in everything that she has ever done, and now a lot of those life choices are catching up with her. She is also a little bit of a screw loose, because some of those life choices are indulging in the finer would it be called supernatural body enhancing supplements. Sorry,
That almost sounds worse.
Anyways, that's Bambi. My name is Yaz or Bodalia, and I'm a visual storyteller. I'll pop the link for, I guess, my link tree, which isn't a link tree, but for all intents and purposes, that's literally the best word for it. There in chat, if you're interested in anything else that I do. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And then Vanessa, or V, tell us about this really cool game that you've put together for us and yourself, and take it away.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I am primarily a traditional artist. I work in pencil sketch and watercolor, as well as some digital art. And you can check out all of my my sketches, my work, my digital art, things like that at my art Twitter, which is at Pepero Draws, and that's Pepero like the candy. I play everybody else in the Exodus world, mainly the, I guess you would say, tour guide of Exodus. Her name is Anastasia Petrova, and she was initially a nurse that worked for the top doctor in Exodus, Dr. Blumenthal. And as things kind of started to hit the fan a little bit, she decided that she was going to find some ways to protect herself, kind of distance herself from the chaos that was going on. And eventually that led her to sending out an SOS signal, which Niklaus and Sydney intercepted at the time. But yeah, there are also some other characters of interest that we have seen so far, namely Dr. Penelope Augustine, who is currently running Exodus. She's pretty much the one who's sitting at the top that we have to get past in order to leave, as well as John Castillo, who may or may not be Penelope Augustine's ex-husband, and currently the person that we are trying to deal with now. Last season, we left off with a sort of heist episode. Bambi and Vixen were teaming up, despite all of their bad blood, to momentarily distract the Blackwood brothers on the first floor of this building, while our other companions snuck upstairs to kind of scope out John's office. They were able to lead him out of there, and just really gave him the slip. Snuck into his office to see what they could find, and there was no key card in any of the drawers. So yeah, nope. Klaus is it Klaus that we're dealing with, or Niklaus?
Oh, it's Klaus. Klaus is very upset about all of this.
So Klaus is currently hiding behind the door with a Tommy gun. Sydney just got done with lighting the office on fire, and John opened the door back up, saw that this was happening, and we ended with a gunshot. And that's where we pick up now. So the office that you've found yourselves in, John Castillo's office, is on the top floor of this small building. And it is now on fire. And as you look around, things seem to catch pretty quickly. Remind me, did you use an accelerant last time? Did you use any of the alcohol that you had? Or
oh, yeah, I basically
was it a Molotov or something like yeah, you poured it around.
I poured Everclear essentially everywhere.
Yeah. So you have used such an accelerant that everything is catching pretty quickly. There was a lot of paper, a lot of decoration in the office, namely some very expensive looking paintings. Like there's a taxidermy deer head on the wall with very large antlers, things of this sort. The place, despite its age, did look beautiful before you decided to set it on fire. And the flames are kind of licking around the outside of the office now, catching the bookcases, all of the work that was on John's desk, things like that. So this gunshot goes off, and John is standing in the doorway. What is Klaus's initial reaction?
How did I put it a couple weeks ago? Klaus is at a point where he's like, I've lost the will to live, and if I don't get to live, none of you do either. I think is what's going through his head.
Right.
So has John actually shot Sid, or did I just hear a gunshot go off?
How are you positioned behind the door? Do you have full eyes on Sid? Or are you kind of tucked back a little bit?
Probably like just behind the door. The idea being, as soon as John fully gets into the room, that, Klaus kicks the door back closed and shoots him, essentially.
Right. So, judging by the fact that as children, we probably hid behind doorways to scare our parents as they came into the room, I'm going to assume that you can see into the rest of the room as well.
Okay.
So, yes, you do have eyes on Sid. So as John comes into the room, everything has been set. Sydney was able to successfully light all of this stuff on fire. John shoots and misses Sydney. Whether that is deliberate as a warning shot or just an accidental misfire or, what have you. The point of the matter being that Sydney does not get hit. She does, if you look closely, it might appear as if not exactly a flinch, but like a reaction to the sound of the gunshot. But Sydney doesn't make any jump or anything like that. She hears this happen and kind of stays in place for a moment.
Okay. Metagame question for everyone.
Sure.
How upset would you be if I shot John right now?
You can do whatever you like.
Well, mostly for Rowan and Yaz's benefit to have some input. Because if Sid's not shot, it could go either way.
Yeah, I'm not particularly upset, but
Okay.
Yasmin is the one that.
I was gonna say it's mostly Bambi I'm worried about. You might be muted there, Yaz.
I'm here. Sorry.
Okay.
I was talking. I didn't realize I was muted. Bambi, I don't have a problem with it. Bambi
Okay.
absolutely would. And Bambi has no chill. She's on borrowed time for chill.
Okay. I just want to
That's
make
a
sure
great
it
way to
wouldn't
put it.
ruin anybody else's plans for this. Okay.
Oh no.
Then yeah, Klaus is just gonna light him up. Just, poke the barrel of the gun in his back and pull the trigger.
Okay. So I'm going to get you to roll a stealth for me. And I'm going to roll opposed awareness. And we will see how this goes.
Good. Stealth I'm actually good at. Okay. A 24?
Quick math. What is this? That is a 25. So
I do have an advantage I can use if I need to.
if you would like to use the advantage, you certainly can.
Yeah.
I am not going to sway you one way or the other. This is totally your circus. You can do what you like.
I spent like all of last session planning for everything that has gone now horribly wrong. I really want to kill this guy.
Aww.
Or at least, leave him injured enough that he will just tell me where this damn key card is.
If you would like to use your advantage, you can certainly do so.
All right, that is much better. That is 17 plus 12, so that's 29.
Yeah, you are able to get the jump on this guy.
Okay.
He notices that you're there just slightly too late. And you are able to shoot your gun at his back as he is trying to turn and assess what is happening. So you can go ahead and you can roll for your gun.
Okay. For damage or attack?
You can go ahead and roll for damage. We're gonna treat this like it's your accuracy roll is kind of included in that stealth, where you guys are pretty much close enough to each other that you'd have to close your eyes and turn around a little bit to miss him. He's right in front of you, so.
All right. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7. And then this is what, 5d4? Yeah. Let's roll 2 more. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12 damage?
12 damage.
Okay.
And
Let me
of
just
course,
keep
Klaus
track.
is holding down the trigger going, and at the very, like, as soon as the gun stops firing, he's like, and I know Home Alone had not come out at this point, but it just feels right for Klaus to be like, where's the card, you filthy animal?
Considering I put a Star Wars reference in the description of one of the perks in the handbook, I think having a Home Alone reference is acceptable in this case. So
Okay, cool.
you're good. Technically, this is happening like early 60s, so Star Wars wasn't out either.
Probably the movie that they reference in Home Alone was out, so that works.
There you go. So yeah, you are able to do a considerable amount of damage. Before, I was going to say Klaus that time, before John sort of blinks out of existence.
I don't like that.
Oh no, I know what kind of splicer he is.
It is definitely inspiration from that, yes.
Okay.
I know you know. Yep. But yeah, he seems to blink out of existence. He's no longer standing in the doorway inside of his office where he just was.
Okay.
So, can I ask something?
Sure.
Because now there has been gunshots, right?
A
Mhm.
lot of them.
So Pepper is still here through the dog's eyes, right? And she's just like, oh shit. So what are the reactions of people downstairs?
I'll let Yaz take this one first. Let's see what does Bambi do? What's her reaction to hearing this gunshot? The initial gunshot, and then the like peppering of a Tommy gun.
Oh my god.
Probably Klaus laughing too, because he's laughing really loud.
Oh god.
You just blew their entire fucking cover.
Oh yeah.
Okay, there's 2 ways that I could do this. I have to think. What would Bambi do? What would Bambi do?
Vixen doesn't seem to make any initial movement. You can see the recognition in her face. Obviously, she has heard this as well. But she's not quite willing to let go of the facade yet.
Okay.
So the smile is still plastered to her face from whatever conversation was happening prior. And she doesn't seem to make an immediate move.
Okay, if Vixen is holding on to this facade, is Xavier still between the two of them?
Yes.
She's going to lay a thick ass kiss right on Xavier's face. That is how she copes. She's just gonna be like, grabs the sides of his face and pulls him into a big old smooch.
I just imagine the thought process in Bambi's head, like, maybe if I kiss him loud enough, he won't hear the gunshots.
That is literally exactly what I was thinking.
Oh my god.
Bambi's such a dumbass.
I don't know if that means Bambi is getting predictable or I have like come to a place where I'm on the same wavelength as Bambi. One of those options is significantly more worrying than the other.
I am going to say that she's predictable as fuck.
I don't know, but there's something in me that says like this is not at all surprising to Xavier. Like this behavior, not one bit.
Of course not. I imagine that she's probably fooled around with them a little bit, like given like certain drunken nights, but like nothing that would be misconstrued as like being in. I mean, she's she's a sleut, guys. So, but yeah, that's where my thought is like, that's not totally unusual for her.
Also keeping in mind that Samson and Xavier would not cross John. So they would not do anything with Bambi that was not good in John Castillo's books.
Absolutely.
So I say he's not surprised, but you know, it is what it is.
It is. So I'll take it.
She puts her hands on either side of his face and just gives him a big old smooch. If Vixen's thoughts could be broadcast, she would be asking you what the fuck is going on in your head at the moment. However, you can either hear her or see her expression, so you don't get that from her. Samson doesn't say anything as he watches this happen. And Xavier, I feel like perhaps he might give Bambi the impression that her plan is working, because he absolutely enjoys it and plays into it and says, this is fine. He's not going to object. However, once he kind of pulls back from Bambi, that almost feline kind of smile stretches across his face again, and you see his eyes dart very briefly towards Samson and then back to you, and he leans his face in again, and much like earlier when he did this, he leans his mouth towards your ear, and you can feel kind of like the hair moving at your ear as he makes a breathy little laugh, and he says, now, I do assume that your companions might have gotten into a spot of trouble.
She plays stupid. Sorry, go on.
No. What does she say to that?
She does that stupid little girl giggle and like plays with the front of his shirt, and she says, I have no idea what you're talking about, and does like the up and down look, like that she's a bad girl.
Xavier kind of raises his hand to the side of Bambi's face, and then just with like one finger, like drags one finger down the side of her cheek all the way down to her chin. And then he takes her by the chin rather firmly, not quite enough to hurt her or anything, but very firmly enough to keep her from turning her head. And he says, now, Bambi, as much as I do enjoy partaking of your offerings, even for you, I would assume that you would know the difference between partaking and being distracted by. And well, this is you we're talking about, Bambi. So I don't know. I thought that might have been extremely clear. But, you know, perhaps not to you. And he lets your chin go and backs up off of you.
I want to gauge how well she'd be able to start singing and to use her plasma at this moment, but she's so close, like literally they could just shush her.
Yes, that is definitely an option. They could, in fact, shush her, whether with their hands or with weapons. Those are all possibilities. So you can do whatever you like to do.
Actually, I think Bambi's gonna lean into this whole like dumb broad act, and see, like, yeah, the jig is up, but she could still keep them distracted, right? With this whole the jig is up thing. Yeah. What is Pepper's dog's? Oh, I guess getting into it this time.
I mean, they definitely Pepper's still in control. Although if these hoodlums continue to do nothing, she's gonna switch. But they're kind of like looking back and forth between Vixen and Bambi, like, hello, there's shit happening. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, they're clearly like uneasy.
Right.
Samson and Xavier also don't show any indication of like moving towards the back room, towards those doors or anything. Like they seem to be perfectly content where they are.
Okay. Then Bambi's not gonna spoil that.
Why would they bring themselves upstairs and get into the middle of John's fun? That's just rude of them.
Right. But also, like, they would have to go all the way upstairs to go and, get in his way. So, there's a lot of work in just walking up the stairs. Anyways, Bambi's she's gonna roll with it. She's gonna be like, I mean, you can think whatever you want to think, but that's definitely not what's going on. Like, and it's obvious. Like, she's not even trying that hard to lie. She's just going to try and prey on them as men. And I mean, it's not going to work. She's known them for so long, but it's more of like she's just trying to get time.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So let's take a quick moment back to Klaus and Sid, who is still standing in the middle of the office as everything is burning around her. And it's starting to smoke pretty heavily as well. You can see it start to roll kind of across the floor in sections as the smoke makes its way toward the office door.
Okay. So John just sort of blinked, right? Like,
yes.
I think Klaus is gonna hurry Sid out the door, and assuming nothing pops out to stab me in the back, Klaus is just gonna exit the room, shut the doors, and then find something to make sure the door doesn't open again.
Roll me an awareness check, please.
Okay. Because I have a feeling that John's not actually gone, he's just invisible. Nat 20.
Okay, perfect. You know that John had like eggs for breakfast. The plate was still in the room. You saw that. You don't know where the eggs particularly came from, but they were there. He smelled vaguely of like clove cigarettes, mixed with a little bit of sweat. All this stuff. No, he's standing in the hallway. I was hoping that you wouldn't notice him because Klaus seems to want to do a lot of things. So I was like, maybe if he rolls really, really low, he'll come out into the hallway and just walk past John, because I think that would be funny. However, no. You hurry Sid out the door and spot him immediately. He's further down the hallway towards kind of the entrance where you came into this floor. And you can see that there is a little bit of blood that's trickling from one of the corners of his mouth. But he kind of gives you a weird, appreciative smile. It doesn't look like he's totally upset about being shot. He just kind of like smiles at you. It's kind of off-putting.
Klaus appreciates this, because if you can't smile and laugh about literally everything, then what's the point?
If you can't smile about getting shot, then what's the point of living?
Yeah, exactly. That being said, Klaus is still extremely annoyed that they haven't been able to find this stupid key card yet. So I think Klaus is gonna bring the gun up again, and essentially mug John. At gunpoint and be like, all right, you've got one more chance to give me the freaking card.
Okay. I have a comment to make, but not now. And when I tell you this comment later, I want you to feel the full weight of it. So I'm going to wait a little while.
I have concerns.
It's not really anything to be concerned about, but I'm just
kind of feels like it is.
silently laughing to myself a little bit because it's interesting. But I want you to experience that later, so we're gonna leave it.
Okay.
I'm gonna get all three of you to essentially like roll for initiative here.
Oh no.
Because obviously John is not gonna let you shoot him, and you're going to try to mug him, and Sid's there, so she might do something. So we are going to roll. I'm
not gonna shoot him again unless he doesn't give me the card or does something.
Yeah,
stupid.
see, that's a no-go for him, right? Like he doesn't like that. Somebody points a gun at him, and he's like, "Well, that seems like a threat." So roll swiftness, please.
It's a polite threat. 26.
Okay, so for Niklas, we've got a 26. For Sid, we have a 24. And for Mr. John Castillo, that is, I'm very bad at quick math. 28, 34. John, and then Sid last. All right, so you hold your gun up. John sees this. He's still got the smile plastered on his face. And it seems genuine. Like it's not one of those fake plastered smiles where as he sees you raise your gun, it just like drops from his face or anything like that. He genuinely seems to be smiling at you. Yeah, pointing a gun at him politely. Please, sir, would you please hand over your contents of your pockets? He sees you do this, and the joy kind of sparks a little bit more in him. I'm going to roll for accuracy, and you can roll for dodge if you so desire.
Nice. I thought about it, but yeah, I think I'm gonna dodge.
Okay.
Dodge.
21.
21, and I might have to use my advantage. Give me 1 second. 19, 22. What did you say you got? 21?
And yeah, you do have a crit available.
Okay, I don't need to use it because I rolled a 22.
Of course.
John reaches out one hand, and you see his fingers close very quickly. And the Tommy gun slips out of your hand and starts to fly towards John. It doesn't make it all the way to him, just kind of pops out of your hand because you're holding on to it pretty damn tightly, I would assume. So that it kind of like jerks out of your hand and skitters across the floor. It's still closer to you than it is to him, but you no longer have your
Jedi aren't a thing yet.
This man has telekinesis. Thank you.
Yeah. But no, Klaus
So,
does
yeah.
literally say, no fair. Okay.
Yeah. So it's still closer to you. You just don't have it yet. So Sid looks to you, Klaus, sorry, kind of waiting for your instruction. Do you give her any direction, or is Klaus too focused on the gun being taken from him?
I think Klaus, the process of drawing those two pistols that he has, and just tells Sid, let's light him up.
All right, so Sid is going to try and literally light him up. So let's see if she can get a good shot in.
Okay.
All right, where's Sid's character sheet? Okay. Sid rolled a nat 20.
Damn.
Yeah.
Who wants some barbecue?
It got worse. So in this case, Raven, I'm gonna ask for your input as a GM, because I don't know how the crits work in this situation. A crit against a nat 20. How would you typically go about that? Because I know that's happened a couple times in Animus, right? I think we've
like two opposing nat 20s.
Yeah. So if I want to use my crit, opposed to Sid's nat 20, because Castillo rolled a nat 1. So I don't really want to. Yeah.
I see. So how I normally do opposing nat 20s is just add it to their stats, and then whichever one's higher is the one that won.
Okay, that makes sense. Let me see.
And then if it ends up being the same number, then it's like, okay, then just re-roll.
Surprise. So for Sydney, where? Oh, here. Oof. Yeah. Okay,
Really
that one would go to John then. I rolled a nat 20 for Sid, and then immediately rolled a nat 1 for John, and I was like, I can't let this happen here. So yeah, I'm gonna use the opposed crits, the two nat 20s, so that this one goes to John. So what is happening here is Sid reaches out her hand. Klaus, you see the light. It's almost like the veins in her hands and her wrists almost seem to light up from within as you watch as they kind of snake towards her fingers, and her hands burst into flame again. So you can see that happening, and it's almost like you can see little fissures open up in her palms, kind of mimicking the way a burn would happen, right? But it doesn't seem to cause her any pain. So that happens. The veins kind of light up. Those flames hop from her fingers, and she throws her hands outward and directly towards John. John sees this coming. It looks initially as if it's going to hit him head on, as in like light the whole man up, throw the whole man in the trash, if you will.
We're trying to.
You know what? It seems as if you are, and the dice are trying to help you do that. It would seem. So yeah, it initially looks like this is going to happen, but then within just kind of like a split second of making contact, you see John blink out of existence for just like the fraction of a second that's needed to throw himself forward. And as he does so, he kind of rolls on the ground towards where the Tommy gun is laying on the floor. And he makes a reach for that as he's doing that. So the fire does not hit him, and he's now currently in movement trying to scoop that gun up.
Okay.
So then for John, as it is his turn, let's see what we've got for him. So he is able to get his hand around the stock of the gun and pull that towards him as he's trying to straighten himself up from his movement. Nicholas, or Klaus, back to you.
I'd like to use my ice plasmid and try and freeze his hand to the gun and both of those things to the floor.
Okay. Roll your accuracy for me.
Okay. You just need to chill out. Nat 20.
Gentle Christ, what is going on today?
Wow.
Oh my god.
So it's a 29 total.
Jesus, gentle Christ, God Almighty.
I'd just like to say shout out to the sponsor, Die Hard Dice, because it's a Die Hard that I'm rolling, and it's giving me nat 20s when I really need them.
Damn it! I mean, I'm happy for Die Hard Dice being here and being a part of our show with the dice and all that. That's wonderful. But you guys, stop making good dice. I'm trying to stay alive here.
You're trying to stay alive.
I am trying to stay alive, yes. I quite like John Castillo. I don't want him to die here.
I'm not gonna kill him as long as he gives me the friggin' card.
Well, generally, as you try to mug someone, they're not going to feel so great towards you. So I don't think he's just going to hand it over now.
He doesn't have to feel great. He just has to give me this frickin' card.
So yes, with your nat 20, he is not able to avoid this. You can go ahead and roll damage because you are hitting him with an attack plasmid. So he will inevitably take damage to his skin.
Yeah, so it's 2d4, and then special, when the target is frozen, they forfeit their next turn. So that's 6 damage.
Okay. He's still doing all right. He's still doing okay.
Well, hello.
And
Kit Kat.
since... just to give you the heads up,
Mm-hmm.
since he has to forfeit his next turn, whatever it's Klaus's turn again, he's just gonna go through and rifle through his pockets until he finds that damn card.
So were you aiming for both? Well, I guess with your nat 20, you would hit both. Yeah. Okay. So for Sydney, she does have her fire prepped again, but she looks to Klaus a second time to see if there's any prompting for her to intervene, because obviously it seems like he is, in a spot of trouble. So she's wondering if there's any input that she needs to provide.
Yeah, Klaus is just gonna be like, "Get the card!" and start running over and just turning the guy's pockets inside out.
So can Pepper actually come in now? Because especially if these guys are not doing anything, if they're continuing to do their little song and dance downstairs.
Yeah, if you'd like to come out of the dog's eyes, then you can certainly either come out of the room or peek out or whatever, press your ear to the door, see what's going on.
I mean, the door open?
The door is closed, I believe.
In the office?
Because you were in the room. Well, no, you were in the other room by yourself. Remember, you were
the
further
closet.
down the hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she would open it and leave now because this sounds kind of serious.
Yeah. When you open the door, you see Klaus and Sid, and you see John Castillo with his hands frozen to his gun, frozen to the floor.
And we're rifling through his pockets.
Is the room on fire?
The office.
His office is, yes, but not the hallway right now.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at this whole thing, and I'm like, she's not even sure what to do.
To add to your confusion a little, as Klaus and Sid approach John, who, by the way, is a decently large man, both broad in the shoulders but also tall. So seeing him frozen to the ground is a little bit comedic in a sense, because he's like reaching for a gun that's now frozen along with himself to the floor. But he seems to be enjoying himself. He thinks this is funny. So as you approach him to rifle through his pockets, he starts to laugh. Just like a low, kind of throaty chuckle.
Klaus is also laughing, I think, at that point, going, "See, what's a few bullets between friends? It's fine. Now where's the damn card?"
Does Pepper have any any response to that? This image before her?
Pepper for a moment forgets that they're here to look for the card. She's like, "Wait, what card?" Oh!
Oh my God, Pepper. Yeah, the whole reason you guys are here.
She's like, oh yeah. Oh. But it's just the weirdness of this scene of this big guy on the floor, the office on fire. They're both laughing. They're downstairs. They're acting like
scene.
They're downstairs. They're acting like it's nothing, and she's just like, and she totally missed the bill, I guess, when it came to him coming back to the office for like the second that she wasn't paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just like, I didn't even know when this guy came back. Like,
I think that was the only good roll that I had last session, was him sneaking back and nobody catching it.
Yeah, well, I also didn't roll that high, I think, for noticing. So she's just so confused and just baffled by this whole thing. But she's like, oh yeah, that card.
Whoa, okay, hold on, sorry. That dog scared the crap out of me. 1 second. I tell you, watching scary ghost videos the past few days and then having the dog bark in the middle of the night for no reason, it's very frightening. All right, we're good. Unless, no, you stay there. Good girl. Good girl. See, everything's fine. We're playing a game, girlie. You can't do that. All right. Sorry. What were you saying, Rowan, about Pepper?
So she's like, well, if we're caught, sorry that your office is on fire, sir. And we want the card he's talking about is the security card for the bathyspheres. That's the card. I think context is important.
His
Oh my God.
context is quite important, usually, yes. John kind of looks over to you briefly. He's still kind of got that sparkle to his expression, where all of this is fine. Nothing bad is happening at the moment. It's great. And he ignores you, Pepper, for just a moment, and he turns back to you, Klaus. And he doesn't whisper, but he lowers his voice, kind of, to a point where perhaps Sid might hear if she's listening intently, but it's just kind of like a private conversation. And he says, I didn't really expect to see you here. But it's very, very nice to know that your little experiment with that drug turned out to be so amusing. So very interesting.
Is that all that he says?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Klaus just straight up gives him the confused puppy head tilt look for just a second, and then goes, "You know what else is amusing? Bullets!" and starts shooting at him again.
Yeah, we're not gonna kill him. It's okay.
Well, he had a chance to give me the card a gajillion times now. Or say where it is, or go, "I don't have it," or something.
I'm trying to decide how much John values his hands.
There's a lot of things you can't do when you don't have hands.
That is
I guess
very true.
Before I start shooting, let me ask you this. Is there some other way that we can get this card? Because we've spent 3 sessions trying to get it, and I feel like it's not here. And I don't know what exactly to do other than just kill this fucker.
Yes. And so remember how earlier I said that I had a statement?
Yes.
And that I wanted you to really feel the weight of the statement?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to hear what it was?
Yes, please.
Okay. So John Castillo was sitting in his office. And the Blackwood brothers seem to have already known that you guys were upstairs, as they said as much to Bambi and Vixen. John was waiting for you to get there so that you could ask him politely for the card, and he would have given it to you. And instead, you lit his office on fire and shot him.
Y'all should let Bambi just walk in there.
Yeah, so I want you to sit there and think about your decisions for a moment, because all you had to do was ask.
I mean,
let us
no,
take-
that makes total sense. In all the stories when someone breaks in to steal something, they commonly go to the victim and ask them for the thing that they're there to steal. That makes total sense.
I mean, I feel like Pepper Ann is trying at this point.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for Claus.
Pepper, I don't really think that's going to make a difference, as his hands are glued to the floor and you're shooting at him. You as in
He's
collected
not.
the party. So yeah, let's just take 5 seconds of silence to let that sink in. You could have just asked.
It's Klaus. Of course he can't.
Could have just asked.
We're there to steal it. You don't ask somebody for the thing that you're there to steal. That's
Why
how you
not?
get caught and shot.
What gives you any indication that he would have just shot you? Why
Everything
wouldn't you just
we've heard
ask?
about John. Literally
Oh,
everything.
He would have asked for something in return, but he would have given it to you if you had asked him such. So here we are, back to the freeze frame kind of record scratch happened. Now we're back to the current events. Are you shooting him?
Well, did we find the card in his pockets? I forgot to ask that first.
Oh, right. You did rifle through his pockets. Roll.
Yes.
You can roll an investigation for me.
Okay. 17.
17. All right. Describe to me your process of searching him.
Reaching into the pocket, grabbing the bottom of the pocket, and pulling it inside out and emptying the contents onto the floor.
Okay. What pockets are you searching? I want you to be very detailed with me. Tell me exactly how you're doing this. 'Cause you rolled a
starting
This is
17.
your punishment. This is your punishment.
Starting with the outside coat pockets, then the inside
Okay.
coat pockets.
Yes.
If nothing there, then if the shirt has pockets, then that one. And then last would be the pants pockets, because that gets a little awkward.
Okay.
And I'd rather not have to do that if he doesn't have to.
Right. What order are you checking his pants pockets?
Left front, right front, and then the back pockets.
Back pockets. So what you're telling me is that we've spent all this time, got through all of these sessions, just so that Klaus could touch John Castillo's ass.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Bambi wants that job so bad.
I
Bambi, come get your man.
know.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So, let me just roll something really quick.
Because if we found the card, then Klaus is not going to shoot him. He's just going to walk away.
So you went outside pockets, inside pockets, shirt pocket, front pants pocket, back pants pocket.
Yep.
The dice are helping me make this a little bit more difficult for you. Thank goodness. Which is why I wanted you to
Sid's
describe to
helping
me.
too, by the way. That was also a thing.
Okay. Yeah, so with that being the order, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I had to roll high enough on my dice for this, so it took me 4 chances. Without any additions, I just rolled a straight up D20, so I don't feel bad about hitting the goal number. You get to about the front pants pockets, and that is when John is able to not quite break the ice that's holding his hands, but it's melted enough that he's able to physically haul back on his hands, and you see like a layer of skin rip away, like the top layer of skin on both of his hands that are fixed to this ice. But he does not show any indication of pain. So he allows you, and he makes no movement as you're kind of searching him over. He sits there very politely. He doesn't make any inappropriate jokes. Doesn't make it more difficult for you. He turns so that you're able to get one pocket. Once you're done, he like angles his chest the other way so that you can reach around his arms to get to his other pocket. Things like that, like very polite, as you're very methodical with him. You get to his front pants pockets and he kind of like leans his torso so that they are both visible to you. And then as you take your hands out of the front pockets, or, we'll let Sid do the jacket pockets because that's a little less awkward, and you're sticking your hands in his. You, Klaus, you are sticking your hands down this man's pants. And
no,
as you take
pockets, there is a difference.
I feel like that had the same energy as "What do you have a knife?" No.
No. What are you doing? No.
Oh my God. What are you doing? Sticking your hands down this man's pants? No.
No, Klaus does a lot of things and does a lot of horrible things, but he would not stick his hands down somebody's pants without consent.
Oh, well, I've just outlined to you that John Castillo is in fact helping you check his pockets. So,
okay.
So you take your hands out of the front 2 pockets, and it's at this point, before you are able to search around his ass, that he's able to. My mother just walked in as I said that. See, it's at this moment as you are taking your hands back from his front pockets that he's able to rip his hands free from this ice. And you get like a few little droplets of blood splatter to your cheeks, Klaus, as you are closer to this happening. And as he moves back, he tries to make a swing for you. So you can go ahead and roll to dodge if you would like to do so. Or you can take a bloody fist to the face.
I'm half tempted to be like, Klaus, just like, yes, please punch me in the face with a bloody fist so I can feel something.
It's like, yes, Daddy, punch me.
I would like to feel alive again, please.
Not that kind. 14. That was a horrible
14?
roll.
That's fine. I rolled a 3 on my dice, so I only got a 19. But that does, in fact, beat your 14, so that's fine.
It does.
So he draws his hands back, rips them out of the ice, makes a swing at you as he backs up. And yes, as Depresso Espresso said, bonk, smacks you right in the nose with his fist, leaving a smear of blood. And the contact is not just a 1 point of contact because his skin is a little slick. He smacks you in the nose and it kind of like drags a little bit as he does so. So you now have like a big blood smear across your face from the impact and then the slide of his hand that has been essentially degloved from the ice. If you don't know what that is, don't look it up. Just trust me on this one. Yeah. So he hits you.
How much damage?
It's 1 point of damage. It's not very hard. He just gets kind of like a glance as he goes.
Okay.
And he laughs. It's another one of those like low throaty chuckles. He backs away from you. Straightens up. So what he does is he straightens up and kind of fixes the front of his suit and like pulls on his clothes to make sure they're all in the right spot. But as he does so, he's leaving like fingerprints of blood all over his clothing, and just pretends that it's not happening. So he looks like his clothes are fixed in the right way, but now they have like smudges of blood everywhere, where he was touching the fabric. He like straightens his tie and there's like blood fingerprints all over it.
Oh, goodness.
Right. Hold on. Now we will go back to Bambi for a moment, because Bambi's been hanging downstairs for a little while with the Blackwoods. So I would say from where you are, you guys definitely heard the gunshots. I would say that you perhaps heard like the muffled voices. You wouldn't have heard any like specific dialogue or words or anything like that, but you can hear speaking. Yeah, the Blackwoods are just kind of holding down the fort, I guess. They're just dealing with you guys in the way that they've been dealing with you. So do you make any move to try and go upstairs, or?
I think with like the continued tussle, there's actually like an expression of like genuine concern that Bambi has. And like a distraction. Like she's so invested in this really poor manner in which she's trying to be distracted, but like it goes on long enough that she breaks character. Like her face just sort of like has that expression of like she was here a moment ago and now she's just like that anxiety is caught up with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of like checks out for a second and then checks back in and looks at the two of them, and I'm trying to think of like the most Bambi way of doing this. She's going to step away from the boys, and kind of towards Vixen, but that means she has to cross past Xavier in between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a mouse sort of prepping its escape is what she's doing. And she's there's no way like they're gonna know exactly what she's up to, but
yeah, as you cross excuse me, sorry. As you cross in front of Xavier, roll me an awareness. It's not anything, super important, but let's just see.
Boop, boop, boo, doo, doo, doo. 19.
Yeah. As you pass in front of Xavier, who is kind of watching you, like you said, this kind of cat and mouse, always has his eyes on you. As you cross in front of him, you get the very real sense that they don't consider, or at least Xavier, who is right in front of you, does not consider you in the least a threat. This kind of like the way he's leaned in to whisper in your ear and antagonize you and things like this. That is exactly what it is. It's just trying to antagonize you. You can tell immediately that he, as a person, does not consider you to be a threat to him, where he is and the way he and Samson are carrying themselves and things like that. Samson, it's not so easy to get that vibe from him, because he doesn't usually flaunt that sort of thing the way Xavier does. Xavier is definitely like the flashier of the two, and he kind of wears his expression on very clearly on his face sometimes. So it's definitely very easy to pick up from him and not so much from Samson. But the two of them are just, this is a game. this is a, keep these two down here, kind of play around a little bit, have some fun, and let the boss deal with what he has to deal with.
All right. I have a question.
Sure.
Bambi's siren song, does it have to be a voice? Can it be like she's humming a song? Like, could she be more subtle with it and let it charge up?
That is a good question. Yeah, I would say so. I think vocalized in the form of a full song with lyrics is probably the most potent use of it. So if you were to hum, if you were to make some sort of noise in that regard, it might be more of like, when you take melatonin before bed and you can kind of feel it a little bit and it makes your eyes droopy, but it doesn't knock you out. Like, it's not a sleeping drug. It's just supposed to tell your system that, you're winding down. So I feel like that's kind of a similar deal. So as she hums, it kind of falls into that. Like,
it lulls them.
Yeah, it's like a lull, but it doesn't have that full...
So my intention is to use the humming to gear up, like to pacify them enough that she could use her song. Eventually. Where like they wouldn't act to stop her from singing. That's what I'm hoping for. And I would like to have her sing the 1920s, or not sing, but hum the 1920s version of Feel Good Inc. by Postmodern Jukebox.
You know how I love me my Gorillaz, Yaz. What the fuck?
Such a great cover too.
It is a really good cover.
It's on Nicholas's playlist.
Are you trying to let me, or trying to get me to let you do this your way just because I like the Gorillaz?
That was absolutely not my intention, but I will lean into that curve. I'd say that's definitely an option. Let's see how we try and get this figured out for you. So Bambi would like to do that.
So your plasmid attack is usually an accuracy check, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Actually, no, I think it's an area of attack, isn't it? Because it's a subject within listening distance.
Within hearing distance, yeah. But it's only one person at a time unless I spend extra use for it. Essentially.
Right. So I guess then my first question is, how many uses do you have left on your dose?
I have 3 uses left.
3 uses left.
That would put her in a special spot.
So yeah, I will say that you will still need to use a second dosage of like a second use to capture both of them, I guess. But yeah, you can definitely start humming. I'm gonna get you to roll. Let's see how long it takes them to give you an opening. I'm gonna get you to roll accuracy for me, and I'm going to do an opposed resistance.
Okay.
For both of them.
So 2 resistance rolls.
No, accuracy for you. And I'm going to resist.
My bad. Okay, so first one. Wow, I can't type today. 31. Critical.
Okay. So you got a nat 20 on that one?
Yep. And then a 15 on the second one.
15. All right. So with that nat 20, I will automatically bump your 15 up, and you are able to slowly begin to hum and catch both of them. I will also, because it's a nat 20, I will only require one usage of your dose.
Yeah. Cool.
So I will bump that back down. No worries. So with your nat 20 and your 15, those balance out. You are able to 31, 45, Yeah, I'll give it to you. 'Cause it's only 1 point off. Yeah, you're able to build that up initially for the both of them. And it only really manifests in a slight droop in their shoulders. Samson, visually, like the expression doesn't change. You do get a little bit of change in Xavier, however. Very, very minute changes, very, very tiny. But because you are familiar with these boys and you know them and you've spent time with them, you can visually see this happening.
Right.
Just like a very, very small settling of, almost like the nerves are settling. And a little bit of that is creeping into them. So you know that you have successfully enthralled the two of them and that they are in a sense of lull. Not
complacency.
Not quite totally under a spell, but they are starting to get there.
All right, she's just going to keep at it, making sure that her enthralling is stronger. But she's going to look to Vixen and like try with her expressions as she's doing her little humming, like be like, well, I can keep them here if you can get on ahead, kind of thing. Like she's trying to be like, hey, come on, like I got this. Maybe you could go help them.
It doesn't take very much prompting from you. Vixen is a smart girl. She can pick up on the clues that you are laying down for her.
That's good because Bambi would have figured it out if it was the other way around.
God bless her. I love Bambi. She's such a sweetheart.
She's a honey girl.
Yeah. Vixen is able to see that you are motioning and kind of like telling her to skedaddle, which she does. She takes her shotgun. She doesn't verbally tell the dogs to come on or anything like that. She leaves them for Bambi, or if Pepper recalls them with her, that's fine. But you hear like a loud clicking noise as she readies her gun and gets everything set for that and starts to take off. The click clack of her heels on the floor as she disappears into that hallway. And you can vaguely hear the door creak open, that same creak that Pepper got when she pushed open the door without really thinking about it. And it creaks and then closes, and you can hear her footsteps getting quiet as she goes up the stairs.
Cool. Did she take the dogs with her? Did she leave the dogs with Bambi?
So Pepper,
Yes,
do you
she
have
left
any? Yeah, so
dogs
you're
with
not
Bambi.
in with the dogs right now.
No,
So
no.
yeah, she didn't verbally tell the dogs to come on, so they are still there with you.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So did you have anything to add there, yes?
I just wanted to add that she actively works on engaging the brothers so that their attention is on her and that they would not notice her leaving.
Okay. Yeah, you are able to do so. They're more concerned with you. Both. I think it's a little bit of a mixture between the plasmid that you're using and also the fact that they seemed very sure of themselves and that, like, John Castillo is going to take care of everything upstairs. They're not too too quick to really jump on anybody. This is just a friendly chat for them, right?
Yeah, friendly.
But yeah, we will go back up to the lads upstairs. I think maybe we should take a quick break first and then go back to them. What do you think?
Up to you.
Sounds good.
Yeah. All right, let's do that then.
We'll take our 15-minute break. So go grab snacks, drinks, all that good stuff, and then be back here in 15 minutes, and we'll find out what happens with John and Klaus and Pepper and everybody upstairs, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. Be right back. we are back.
Alrighty. So before break, we were going to jump back up to the top floor and see what everybody is up to now that Vixen is on her way. So she hasn't made it up yet. She's just leaving the bottom floor and making her way up the steps. She'll be there momentarily. But what is the discussion like between our friends upstairs?
Well, Pepper just has so many questions for Klaus specifically. Like, why is the office on fire? What did you do?
Well, you see, what had happened was,
We weren't supposed to do that. We weren't
we
gonna
were
do
searching
that.
for the key card, and then fire happened.
She looks at Sid like,
Sid looks at you and she just shrugs.
What's it?
So at this point, I'd say that John probably looks between the three of you. And the smile kind of tightens a little bit. It's still got that kind of jovial kind of feel to it, but it just tightens slightly at the mention of the fire. And he says, there were some rather important documents in that office, and I don't take too kindly to my things being set on fire.
I don't blame you. We weren't supposed to do that.
Klaus just sort of laughs and smiles at John and says, well, John, can I call you John? I'm gonna call you John. John, sometimes you start looking for things because you want to escape and get away from this sunken hellhole because some bitch is trying to kill everyone. And chaos happens and things catch on fire. It's unavoidable.
So
I'm sorry for your loss.
The tone of the discussion shifts considerably as you say the bitch. All trace of the camaraderie, the happiness, the joy, the banter that was in John's face suddenly disappears. It is no longer there. He knows that you're talking about Penelope because she's the one who stops everybody from doing everything, right? She's the leader here. You refer to her like that, and any happiness that was in this exchange wiped from his face. And he lowers his voice and he says, office aside, you best watch what language you use to refer to the people around here, lest you lose your tongue for it.
At that, Klaus just sort of loses his smile as well and goes, you work for her, don't you? Well, see, I was just starting to get to like you, and now
He's married to her, or was?
The was the operative word there that I assumed meant they were no longer chummy.
He starts to laugh again. It's like this switch that he's able to turn off and on. The features go back to the laughing and the joking. And he says, you work for her. And that's when the flip kind of switches for the second time. And John starts to laugh again. He says, oh, goodness me, no, I don't work for her. I work for myself. Always have, always will.
Oh, good. Then we can possibly be bullet exchanging friends again.
I do rather think that I would prefer less bullets to this friendship. But I suppose that entirely depends on what you do now.
I suppose we could do less bullets if you really want. Perhaps in exchange for that, you could give us this card that we've gone through so much effort to get.
John starts to laugh again. He's like, oh, No, you see, I don't think that will do it. Not quite. However, if you would like to do something for me, something a little more substantial, I would say, then I might just set the key card down and forget where I put it.
I think you seem to be misunderstanding our purpose for being here, but what is this favor? Let's hear it.
No, I rather think that you misunderstand exactly what it is you're doing here. I'm providing you with an option. The other option is a lot bloodier and a lot less fun. So I think you would do well, yes, to listen to this other option.
Less bloody. More bloody, less... That doesn't make sense.
And he starts to laugh again. It's very much like a very ping-ponging of, you say something that he doesn't quite like, and all the buddiness is gone, and then you say something that he does want to play off of, and that friendship is back again. So it's very much back and forth. But, you know, John doesn't seem to be any sort of... out of his mind. Like it's not a madness that does it. He seems very much schooling his features. It's kind of interesting to watch, really, how quickly he can manipulate his own expressions and how they manifest so quickly and then they're gone. I love John. I think he's such an interesting character, but you know, I'm biased. It's probably around this time that you guys are talking that Vixen shows up. She tries to be quiet as possible, but she's not trying to sneak, into John's back or anything like that. She doesn't shoot him from behind, unlike some people. But she does show up. You can hear her heels on the carpeted floor. And John doesn't turn to meet her, but she does move forward. You, Klaus, Sydney, if you guys are looking, as well as Pepper, you can see Vixen start to reach out towards John's back. But she doesn't do anything. She stops, runs her fingers very gently over the back of his jacket where there is blood, pouring out of these gunshot wounds, which he seems to be taking remarkably well, I might add. But she kind of traces, a little bit of a gunshot, nothing adrenaline won't fix. She reaches out and very gingerly, touches her fingers to the holes in his clothing and rubs her hand on his back between his shoulder blades as she steps around the side of him. So she leaves her hand there on his back, very familiar and she smiles and she looks up at him, and he's considerably taller than she is, even with her heels on. But she offers him a smile and just says, "Oh, John, it is nice to see you again, although probably not under the cleanest of circumstances." And you see her hand kind of move, her arm moves as she moves her hand on his back a little bit, and she starts to laugh. So John doesn't really say anything to that. He, his eyes are still focused mainly on Klaus. Sometimes on Sydney because, she got awfully close to burning him to a crisp. So he's still kind of wary of her. But Klaus is kind of the main course here, the one who has done the most damage so far. And he says, "Yes, well, that other option, you know what? I think it might tickle your fancy a little as well. It still involves guns and bullets and blood and shooting and all of that and what have you. However, yes, there is something that I would like you to do for me. There is a gentleman, you see, who still lives here in the city, and I would like to see him dead. And in fact, not just dead, but considering you've also set my office on fire, which I will have to deal with, by the way, despite the loss of countless pages of information that might have done me some good, and all of my decorations and paintings and taxidermy, which I was very fond of. I will forgive all of this and give you a key card if you return this gentleman's head to me so that I might taxidermy it instead and hang it somewhere else that is not my office, considering I no longer have an office. You still get to shoot, I still get to have some fun, and you get a key card. What do you think?
If you want more
Well, I think-
taxidermy, my papa's taxidermy is still there last I checked. I don't think I'm gonna need it.
No, child. The specific taxidermy that was in my office was, well, it had sentimental meaning to me, I suppose you could say. And in terms of sentimentality, I think this gentleman's head on a silver platter will do just fine.
Oh,
I think Klaus also
it's
does
it's
like the
sentimental to
shush,
me.
the shush motion to Pepper. It's like, shh, mommy and daddy are talking. And Klaus will just say,
You say that, and Vixen is like, she gives you a look like, what the fuck? Like, did you tell Bambi that this was the relationship you had, or like, what's going on here? I don't want to be any part of this.
Klaus just gives Vixen a look like, don't worry about it.
I'll tell you when you're older.
Exactly. I think taxidermying a human head is a little bit gauche, but, to each their own. Who am I killing?
Well, you see, there's a doctor that still resides here in the city named Dr. Blumenthal. Quite funnily enough, you'll find, I think, that he has a very interesting first name.
Frog?
Is it,
Potato?
Yes, go ahead, guess. I'd like to see if you can guess what it is.
Banana?
is it bulb?
John shoots you a look to say, like, you should shut up.
Is it Bob?
Did you say Bob?
Bob, yes.
John's just like, no, it's not Bob.
Robert?
You see, I'm sensing a theme here. No, it's not Bob, and it's not Robert. Well, I'm getting tired of this guessing game. What you see is, in fact, his first name is Nikolaus. Dr. Nikolaus Raymond Blumenthal. I thought that was quite humorous. Could you say so myself?
Oh, well, I don't. He stole my name. I should kill him just for that.
Listen, I don't care what reason you choose for killing him. Just as long as you bring his head back to me, I don't give a fuck, quite frankly. So would you like to take on this little exchange or not?
Seems like a win-win to me.
You know,
Hold on.
Klaus holds up a finger, like tilts his head like he's listening to somebody, like down the hallway. It's like,
Yep, Nick's on board too. We're good.
You see that tight smile return to John's face, and he's like, I'll ask you not to interrupt me in that manner again. However, yes, I do feel that this is an adequate exchange. And I'm sure that Vixen here might show you the way to the medical pavilion. And he looks down to Vixen, who gives like a bat of her eyelashes, a smile, not unlike the way Bambi interacts with the Blackwoods, and gives a little nod. Because Vixen does it well enough too. You might say. But yeah, she gives her little eyelashes and smile, and she says, of course, John, I can show them the way to the medical pavilion. That won't be a problem at all. And,
Actually, Pepper looks up and she's like, why do you not like them?
well, little girl, I don't think it's very nice to pry into anybody else's business. Wouldn't you agree?
But if we're killing him, then we maybe should know at least a little why.
John kind of raises an eyebrow at you. And all he says is kind of like, no matter what the situation, the man is quite the eldritch horror as it is. And I will very eagerly guarantee you that you won't have any problem once you see the state of the medical pavilion. And so he's not a nice person, if that will suffice for me to say. So you mustn't worry about killing him. He rather deserves it.
Plus, he stole my name.
That is true. He did steal your friend's name.
Bit of a frog caught in my throat there.
The cat, that frog sounds like a cat.
A frog cat, what's the difference?
Pepper seems
They're
to
both
be
annoying.
okay with that. Just like, guess we'll see. You know, she seems to accept that.
Yeah. John takes a step to the side of the door, as if opening up the way for you to leave his fucking space. You are dismissed. He doesn't say anything else.
Okay.
Vixen seems to be okay with leaving.
I think Klaus is rushing out the door going, come on, we've got people to kill. People to kill, heads to cut off. Running out of whatever daylight passes for around here.
So Pepper does follow. In fact, she's very happy to see her puppers. Bambi gets there, doesn't she?
No, Bambi's with the boys.
Okay. So I guess they go down the stairs and Bambi's there.
Yeah, and so are the Blackwoods, so did Bambi ever actually fully unleash, or did she, just focus on her humming?
I had an idea, because Bambi's getting real tired of being looked down on.
As she should. I don't blame her.
Bambi's
Guys are not nice.
No, they're not. Bambi's reaching like a breaking point with it, and like the realization of how people see her and treat her is becoming a bigger and bigger problem to her. And I had an idea, a very vengeful, vindictive, shitty idea.
Yes.
On brand.
100%
Let's hear
here for it.
What I wanted to do, and I don't know, this is more psychological sabotage under the thrall than it is like anything else. She wants to turn the brothers against each other.
Interesting.
And like for a brief momentary thought, I was like, oh yeah, she could just have them kill each other. But I don't think she has enough uses of her power to incite a full-on war, feudal war between the two of them. But she could severely fuck with them and get them at each other's throats. So it might not be a thing now, but that it could be instigated later.
Yeah. Like if you were to kind of plant that seed.
Yeah.
And once everybody comes back down, I'm sure they're going to let you know, like, hey, we're going to come back. We've got some shit to take care of, but we'll be back. So anything that you would like to do further down the line, you would also have the opportunity to do so as you are coming back. So that's definitely something that we can talk about. If you would like,
so
after the session.
I would be more than willing to use the rest of my uses to incite those seeds, essentially.
Okay. I'm going to get you to give me a couple rolls just so that I can gauge how effective this is immediately. We'll see if you get any immediate effects. And then, yeah, we can kind of discuss exactly how you want that to manifest. Their like how their behavior changes, what Bambi envisions that looking like. And then that's something that we can explore when we come back this way, because we'll have another opportunity. Sound good?
Cool. Yeah, it sounds great.
I'm gonna get you to roll. This is great. I don't have any stats here that that encourage psychological warfare, so it's a little interesting trying to decide what skill to get you to roll. How about skillfulness?
Okay.
Or is there anything along that list that you would like to argue for instead that may be a little higher than your skillfulness?
I would like to make an argument for accuracy, because it's purely the use of her plasmid and her intention behind using it, and because in the past when she's done meaner not magic but plasmid use, her emotions are what pushed her over the edge for doing something a little bit bigger, and so that would be my argument there for using accuracy. If you take it, if you don't, I don't think I would have anything else other than skillfulness that's above that I could see being used.
Go ahead and use your accuracy. Let's see what
Sweet.
give me 3 accuracy rolls.
First one is a 12. Second one is a 12. Which those are ones, by the way. Yeah. 29.
A couple of advantages there, just as a reminder.
Oh yeah. Can I use one of my advantages for one of those rolls?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the way that I envision this going with these rolls, so one of them is going to be a 16. So
yeah, so it would be 12, 16, and 29.
12, 16, and 29.
So failure, little less than failure, and then holy fucking success, Batman.
Essentially, yes. So with the first 2 rolls, I'll let you do this now. You can decide on your own. Who would you like to assign the nat 1 to, Xavier or Samson?
That's a good question. I think the nat 1 could go to Xavier.
Interesting.
And, that would be who I pick.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree with that choice.
Nothing like player knowledge, you know.
Yeah, I would definitely have to agree on that front. So, you, with the roles that you have that you've done here, you get the impression that your intention has kind of stuck. You don't see any immediate reaction from them. It's not like they immediately start to attack each other or anything like that. But you know how your plasmid is used. You know how it feels to use it. And you've done so multiple times in the past. So you are very accustomed to the feeling of how that works and how it connects to other people on a mental level. So you're very certain that it has connected psychologically, that your intention is kind of like sticking to that use. But like I said, there's nothing that immediately happens but we shall see later on, because and that might have to stew in their heads a little bit for some time before you see any results. But you definitely feel like something clicked, let's say.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. Alrighty. So you see Vixen. Vixen is kind of coming down the stairs first. She opens the door. You can hear the creak, and then the click of her heels. There are footprints or footsteps that follow her as everybody kind of descends the stairs. John Castillo is nowhere to be found, naturally.
Of course, what a dick.
He does not come down the stairs to see you, unfortunately.
Bambi just wants to see him so bad.
I have now just realized that everybody has seen John Castillo except for Bambi. What a poor doll. Yeah. And then the
loves him so much, and she just gets shit on all the time.
Yeah, she'll get her revenge, I'm sure, some way or another. Bambi's always scheming. I have no doubt that she'll figure something out. What?
Michael just redeemed 13,000 good points for Bust a Rhyme for you.
Michael, poetry was my least favorite subject. I did it in university and I hated it. Why would you do this to me? I think now is a great time to stop the campaign. Let's save the rest for next session.
I think it's 3 minutes for rhyming, if I remember right. I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't find it.
It used to be 5.
Horrible.
It used to be 5, but I think you changed that.
5 was a bit much, yeah. All right, you ready?
I suppose.
All right, timer's going.
Well, yes, I suppose that I will have to speak in prose from here on out. So as the group comes back together, Vixen's steps light as a feather. What does Bambi have to say as everyone
Leaves
let's see.
Fray?
Yeah, sure, leaves the fray.
I can't help but want to help.
Team effort.
Bambi looks up at you, and you guys can all tell that she's just a little bit heartbroken that Johnny didn't come down to see her. But she's a big girl and she's got her big girl pants on, and so she flashes her most Bambi smile at you guys. And she kind of takes a couple steps. She's already kissed Xavier. She gives Samson a light kiss on the cheek and essentially ends her spell that she's been spinning, and goes to meet you guys.
Klaus just walks up to Bambi and does the hook arm in arm in arm hook thing. And as everyone's sort of leaving, just quietly goes, I heard John was going to come down here and see you, so I burned his office down.
It does make her feel a little better. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It makes her feel just a little bit better. And she gives you kind of the tee smile and pats your shoulder and gives your arm a little squeeze, and she blows kisses to this to the Blackwood brothers.
Love that.
Okay.
No.
And as Bambi starts to leave, perhaps as a trick from up his sleeve, Samson smiles, just a tiny smile, perhaps in an effort to beguile, and lets Bambi walk away without a single thing to say.
I'm here for this.
No way.
I'm trying my best. Please let me rest.
You're doing great. You're doing absolutely great. So Baby's gonna look at the rest of you and be like, so did you get it?
So we gotta go kill a guy, and then he'll give it to us. Should we go talk to Anastasia about this?
It's probably best we don't.
What? But something's tickling the back of her head. It's like, didn't she used to be a nurse, Dr. Do? Maybe there's important information?
I'm pretty sure, at least the Nick part of Niklaus, remembers her talking about a Dr. Blumenthal, or that we've seen one before. Has some recollection of, like, Anastasia and this person are somehow involved, and so Klaus is just like, just ignore that.
Bambi's gonna like shrug and be like, well, you know, I would, but I don't think she's gonna like it. I don't think she's gonna like anything. So we might as well wrap this shit up and
even
then
if
get back to her.
She doesn't like it. I don't want to make her mad later if she finds out we did something without telling her.
You know, I think I could live with that.
Well, you can.
Perhaps you might listen to Pepper and probably should go get her.
Oh, the DM has spoken in cryptic tones.
Did you all just suddenly hear a voice?
At least, even if she doesn't like it, then at least she can give us information to get the different views on the situation. It seems like the best thing to do. You don't go hunting an elephant without knowing what an elephant looks like or what an elephant can do. Like, how do you know that to bring an elephant gun?
Seriously, did nobody else hear that voice? It told me to listen to Pepper, and so I'm pretty sure the voice is insane.
Yes. Bambi's just like, y'all are too crazy for me.
Elephant gun? It makes sense. Are we fighting an elephant or are we fighting a lion? If we're fighting a lion, maybe we don't need an elephant gun. Though I do have an elephant gun.
Vixen speaks as you all seek an answer and says,
"Oh, you're good on the timer. I'm sorry, V.
Oh, okay, perfect. So this. Thank you for telling me there, Raven.
You haven't said anything since the timer ran out, so but we were all talking. I didn't want to interrupt.
Okay, perfect. Because I was trying to come up with some rhymes that actually made sense to the context.
Sick-ass rhymes.
Sorry.
I hope you enjoyed my my sweet rhymes, Michael. Thank you for redeeming your points. I hated it. Thanks.
I almost want to do it again.
No.
I won't torture you right now.
Okay, thank you. Let me have a breather first, please. So at this point, as you're kind of discussing,
Oh my God.
I literally had some rhymed words written down so I could. No, you're so rude.
Rowan's a jerk. I'm the nice friend. Remember this later.
I said, give me a breather.
But you also said that you had lines penned down.
I had two rhyming words, Rowan. Thank you. So let me know when the clock starts.
I started it already.
Okay. So as you all speak, trying to seek an answer, Vixen says, if we do not return, perhaps she will be more concerned. And so I say that we should return so that we may return, so that we may
Learn.
settle that concern and let her know where we plan to go.
Beautiful.
Glorious. You know who loves rhyming? Rowan. Maybe.
I'm just saying.
I unplugged my headphones. I'm sorry.
I saw.
I actually sit on the cord all the time. All right. So Pepper's like, see, Vixen agrees with me. And I know that you're better than Vixen. And she flutters her eyes at Bambi. She's learning, guys.
You know, isn't Vixen with them?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She's saying this like she doesn't mean it one way or another, but she's trying to get Bambi to agree with her.
Vixen rolls her eyes, but let the comment fly.
Klaus is like
Bambi-
sidestepped away from Pepper and did like the arm motion, like there you go, clear path. Just looking at Vixen.
Bambi's just gonna be like, what sweet hell have I unleashed upon Exodus? And then grin, because that's the only thing. This is a delight for her. This is the best part of her day. And she's like, yeah, absolutely. But yes, we should probably, I guess, go and get her.
Vixen shakes her head and perhaps wishes that all of you were dead.
Timer's up
Or is
now.
that V?
Oh, thank God. If any
Pepper's
of you do
like-
that again, I will cry.
And Pepper's like, that's power of attorney. No, wait, power of 3. And she doesn't
Do you
know.
mean majority vote? Pepper?
Yes.
She mutters under her breath, and it doesn't sound very nice. Vixen pipes back up, and she
that's
says,
three against 2.
Vixen pipes back up after Pepper says this and says, it is true that Anastasia did work in the medical pavilion. And so, despite the fact that this is a mission from John Castillo, she might have some valuable information or be able to guide us through this mission of sorts a little easier, you could say. And even if she does choose to not join in, that's still information that's available to us should we simply ask her.
But she's going to be a buzzkill and lecture and drain all the fun out of the situation.
But you're still gonna get to kill somebody. So at least go. I think Niklaus would be happy to have information before you just go and do the killing thing.
I could take it or leave it.
All right, so what's the general consensus here? Are we
We're going back
We're
to
going.
Anastasia. Yeah.
okay? All right.
Klaus is just pouting about it the whole way.
Right. Yeah, Klaus, you know what? Somehow I don't feel too bad for you as you pout your way back. So, yeah. So Vixen is leading you guys back through these kind of twists and turns between buildings, through a couple different of those kind of glass skywalks, I guess you could call them, the tunnels between buildings, until eventually you do get back to the main hub of the entertainment district, and those familiar storefronts come up, the casino in the back, Bambi's Lounge, and Vixen's Lounge as well.
Yay!
So yeah, she was in Vixen's Lounge, right?
Yes.
So yeah, Pepper just kind of rushes on ahead with the dogs. Like, she's like actually excited to see Anastasia again. You know, she did actually surprisingly well with Nick until Klaus took over. Like, she did well, like, no doubt about it, but she's also kind of relieved, like, I don't have to have that responsibility anymore.
I played nice for as long as I could. Somebody else's turn now.
And he set the office on fire. So
That is true. It is like babysitting Chucky, essentially.
and Pepper is not a good babysitter.
I was gonna say
No.
half the time Pepper Ann needs to be babysat.
Exactly. That's the thing. It's
So
like you
then-
pick the worst person with the, like, for that.
Maybe the correct comparison then is that kid who had to take care of the gremlins and ended up, having to defeat them in a department store before they
Oh, yeah.
ate his face. Yeah.
Mhm.
So perhaps that's a better comparison. Pepper is a child in some ways, just trying to defeat
That's so
these
fair.
evil gremlins.
And Nick is a cuddly little, what are they, Mogwai? Is that what they were called?
Mogwai, yeah. I wouldn't go that far. How dare you? How dare you say that Nick Klaus is Gizmo? Is it Gizmo?
Yeah.
Gizmo.
Yeah. I find that highly offensive. Please refrain, ma'am.
But, if you feed him after midnight, then he becomes a gremlin. Then it's a much better analogy.
Well, I suppose you're not wrong on that one. Klaus is definitely a gremlin. Yeah, so you, Pepper, you rush ahead, you make it to the door. Do you knock? Do you call for Anastasia? What do you do?
Yeah, she does knock, but then she opens the door and she's like, Anastasia, we're back.
Yeah, so Anastasia, you can see her approach from the other side. She unlocks the metal grate that's there as well. And then she also has her pistol drawn as she kind of leans around you to look outside, make sure that things are okay, sees that everybody's in one piece, and then she kind of reaches forward, wraps an arm around your shoulders and gives you a little squeeze before kind of ushering you into the lounge.
Klaus
Did
says
you
that
just
John
ew
Castillo.
woo?
She went, happy noise.
Okay.
She's like, Klaus set John Castillo's office on fire.
Sorry, excuse me. That is the exact same energy as like a bratty toddler getting into the door and be like, "Mom, you're never gonna guess what happened." Like,
Exactly.
my God,
Oh my God.
Pepper is something else. So yeah, you say, he set John Castillo's office on fire, and somehow, on this one specific case, if you're looking at Anastasia's face, just the slightest hint of approval flashes across her features, and she does not say anything negative.
In fact, I think Pepper kind of knows that, even though she's got that condescending, like, guess what he did? Like, she also knows that she doesn't like John Castillo. So there's kind
Yeah.
of like that side of things.
Just
Like,
the
accusing
slightest
both.
little bit of approval just flashes across her face, and then she looks to Klaus, and just kind of like, gives him a look that's not as full of hatred as it usually is.
Yeah, Klaus just like shrugs, like, it was an essential part of the process.
So you know another Niklaus, right?
Yeah, you asked that, and her expression kind of stalls a little bit, like she kind of stutters, I guess, in her step as she's moving into the room. and turns to face you and says, "Well, yes. Why do you ask?"
Because, well, how do you feel about them? Are they good? Are they bad? This is important. She's kind of poking her fingers together.
Anastasia kind of watches everybody as they filter into the room, and once everybody's inside, Vixen closes and locks the door, and closes the inside door as well. And Anastasia looks around, and she looks a little uncomfortable, in fact. But once everybody's inside, she answers the question fully, and she says, "Well, as you know, I used to work as a nurse, and Dr. Niklaus Blumenthal was the head doctor of Exodus in its prime. And so, yes, I worked very closely with him at one point, and he was the reason that I decided that I had to leave and find a safe place to go. So yes, I do know him. I used to work for him."
When you... Oh, no. Oh, no.
We ran a poll.
Oh, I see that.
It was 6-0. All right, 3 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Not so easy, is it?
Okay. When you say used to, what did he do? Did you go on good terms or bad terms? Words that rhyme with themselves. Nice. Sorry.
My God. Anastasia kind of looks at you and is just like, "I initially left his office when he started to decline, just like everybody else. There just wasn't any reason for me to stay anymore. He slowly began to lose his mind, and it was not a safe environment for me to stay in, and I decided that I was going to leave."
The situation is thus. God damn it. God damn it. John Castillo gave us a job. He opened his gob and I'm crying. And said that if we wanted the card, we needed to go hard and kill Dr. Blumenthal. So there's nothing left of him at all, and bring his head back.
In a sack.
Yes. In a sack. Yeah.
We can all have a snack.
There you go. Anastasia is like, "Wow, your rhyming skills are very interesting." Who broke Pepper. No, she isn't. She doesn't
But
say
to
that.
Klaus.
I was gonna say Klaus would immediately be like, "Oh, John did that."
This is definitely not me.
I don't. In fact, I have no idea what you're talking about. Who are we talking about? So yeah, you explain the situation to Anastasia as best you can.
I'll
And-
say.
You know, she
Timer's
looks
up, by
highly
the way.
Thank you.
Okay, now that the timer's up, I have a confession. I used my channel points to cast 5 of those votes.
Yeah. Payback's a bitch, isn't it?
Cast 5 of those
Yeah, I sure did. I cast my vote for yes, and it said, "Would you like to vote again using channel points?" And so I hit yes, and it gave me the option again, and so I just kept clicking.
Yo-yo man, he just keeps yoing.
So you're welcome. Oh my.
There was a poll of whether or not
yeah.
I should rhyme.
Oh man.
It was
That
only up
beautiful.
for 2 minutes.
It's fine, Michael. Don't worry about it. I cast enough votes for all of
It's one of those days. Anyways.
Yeah, so as you explain the situation as best you can, Anastasia looks increasingly disturbed by this proposition. And she
I
doesn't
knew we
really
should have involved her.
she doesn't really say much about the topic at hand at first. And you can tell that she's kind of going through the process mentally. You know, how did we get from A to B? I think there's a couple of things missing here. But eventually she looks like the determination sets back in. Like she didn't go with you to meet with John because of her personal conflict there, but this is something that she can approach. This is something that she can help you guys with, and so that determination seems to set back in. She gives a nod, and she says, "All right, I will show you guys the way to the medical pavilion where Blumenthal is staying. I assume he's still there."
That's what John said.
that
he
he
was
was still in the medical pavilion. Okay.
And that he's like some sort of like eldritchy horror now. So
Well, yes, like I said, Dr. Blumenthal was only human, and he did eventually succumb to the same vices as everybody else, despite us knowing the consequences of these actions. I cannot tell you what led him to the decision to do so. I cannot express how sad I was to see that this was going to be the way things would go for him. He
it,
was
it
a
sounds like
colleague.
you liked him.
No, Pepper, it wasn't like that. He was a very good colleague of mine, and he was a joy to work with. You know, we were friends. We were definitely friends, but that's all it was. It was just a very sad way to see him go, I think.
So what you're saying is we'd be putting him out of his misery.
You know, if anyone else was asking that question, I might agree. But given your track record with how enthusiastic you are to simply destroy things, I'm going to have to disagree.
See, I told you she'd be a party pooper.
She
Just
just
rolls her
shrugs.
eyes.
Only a little bit. She just wants the humanity. Sometimes I wish that I could remember how words work, but I can't anymore. And that makes me
That's so
very
rude.
frustrated. You have Pepper saying what we're all thinking.
Yeah.
Anastasia looks back to you, Klaus, and she says, let's put it this way, could you imagine if there was a time where someone had proposed to you that you would have to kill someone close to you? And her eyes dart momentarily to Sid, who's standing next to you. If someone proposed that you had to kill someone that was close to you in order to further your plans, I think that perhaps even for a creature like you, it might be still a little difficult to do such a thing. Don't you agree?
Well, not for me, but Nick would be just an absolute pain to live with after that, so I suppose.
Close enough, I guess.
So, well, just because you lead us there doesn't mean that you have to take part in it. I think the important thing is if we're going to are we fighting an elephant? And if that's the case, do we need an elephant gun? Or are we fighting a lion? And if that's the case, then elephant gun maybe wouldn't be the best option. That's what we want to know.
It's always the
makes
elephants.
No, in your hunting, you need the right tools. And right now, we don't know what tools we need. And I know it maybe not sound so great that we're hunting somebody who maybe once been your friend, colleague, friend person, but we need your help to know if we're fighting an elephant and if we need an elephant gun.
Anastasia looks like you're putting her brain through a cheese grater. She doesn't quite know how to respond appropriately to your assessment of the situation. But what she does say is, this man used to be a brilliant mind, and much like the other residents of the city, he slowly lost that mind. And so I don't exactly think that if we were to put it into animal terms, I don't quite associate him with the image of an elephant.
That's okay. I would have to see him to know what animal he is.
Right. Well, I guess the long and the short of it is that I want to go, and I want to help out with this particular mission, just because I think it's a good way to put an end to this chapter and to be able to move on and know in the end what happened and how it happened and be able to go from there. So yes, I will come on this mission.
But you also don't have to be there if Klaus cuts his head off, okay?
It's very kind of you to think of me, but I'm a big girl and I will be okay.
Oh, okay.
And she kind of settles back into that look of determination. Like she's on board. She's going to be there.
And then she turns and faces like specifically you, Klaus, as well as you, Bambi, and is like, "Was that so hard?"
Maybe just rolls her eyes because she thinks that went so much harder than it should have.
Klaus just goes, "Yes, it was awful and I hated it and I'm glad it's over."
All right. So, I'm just trying to think now. Is there anything else you guys want to do before leaving the entertainment district? I mean, you guys can look around for more components to upgrade your guns and stuff again if you'd like.
I do. Probably would do that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think Bambi's gonna go scrounge around because she's super low on Cain and Abel. Or
that
her
too.
able hypos.
Alrighty.
That's probably important. Yeah.
I'm down to 1 use on my plasmid also.
Yeah, probably a
Alrighty.
good idea.
Yeah, so you can leave the lounge and take a look around if you'd like.
Yes.
There's the bottom floor. I think we might have done a little bit of looking around on the bottom floor, but not a whole lot. And then there's the marble staircase that goes up.
Is that an awareness?
To look for things is
Yeah.
investigation.
Oh, okay. Whoop, whoop. Bambi would probably go up a level just to see if she can find anything new.
Okay. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pick a number between. You can either pick the number or roll for it. Roll a d4. 1 to 4.
2.
2. All right. So you go up the marble staircase to the upper floor. And you see in front of you kind of these 3 major rooms. It's kind of the same layout as the ground floor, but rather than having like the stores on either side and then the line of them on the back wall, instead these are wide open rooms that you can go in and out of. So there's 3 of them, one on the left, one on the right, one straight down the middle. And they're wide open spaces that, from what you can see, they contain different art installations, sculptures, things like that. So this level of the entertainment district is like a museum. And as you climb the stairs, it lets you out into the main kind of hub, the lobby of this section. And hanging in the very center of it is this large glass installment hanging from the ceiling. And they're all little pieces of glass that intertwine and interact with each other. They're all full of dust. Some of them, long gone. The strings have snapped. There's glass shards on the floor. Some of them seem to be gone altogether. Things like that. But the shapes and the textures and the colors of the glass, it's very, very easy to see that when this was in its prime, when it was being taken care of, the lighting, especially around it, would have cast such a beautiful set of colors on the floor and the walls and everything kind of surrounding this area. I'm sure you'd have seen it in its heyday, quite in fact. But so you remember it being just like this grand, almost playful kind of sense from an installation like this. Almost like you could run in between the pieces of glass hanging and kind of let those colors refract and hit your skin. And, obviously you weren't allowed to do such a thing. You couldn't touch the glass installment. But it definitely had that energy to it, like that playful, happy, upbeat energy, especially with the brightness of the colors and the refraction of the light and how it danced across things. Very, very beautiful. There's still a remnant of that energy there, and kind of mixed together with what you can see in your mind's eye. It still brings up that feeling of, this is gorgeous. Like, it could have been so beautiful if people had continued to keep up with it, but it's quite in disrepair at this point, and definitely not what it once was. With a 2, you take a moment if you would like to kind of look at this. There's nothing really to search here. It's just the installment itself. But you take a left and you follow down to this end of the floor, and there's a bench on either side of this large wide opening of a door. So there's no actual doors fixed to the walls. It's just like this, wide open space. And there's benches on either side and more pillars in the back, the like ionic pillars, much like downstairs. And you walk into this open space, and this seems to be a place where there's a lot of abstract art. So this would have been the section for like abstract paintings. You see a couple more different glass pieces that are like significantly wonkier and crazier than the one that was hanging from the ceiling. Things like some abstract sculptures and stuff like that. That there's another specific spot just for sculptures, so there's not a whole lot of that there, but it's definitely abstract pieces.
Nice.
So you can go ahead and roll for, what did I say? Investigation.
I did, and it was an 18.
An 18. All right, so you search around in there. There are, some garbage cans and things like that would have been set up throughout the exhibit. Obviously, they wouldn't want you to throw trash on the ground in the middle of a museum, so there's plenty of those. Some potted plants that you can dig through to see, things like that. So with an 18, you take a cursory glance through everything, and you're able to find, let me see. You're able to find 5 components in 2 of these trash cans that are closest to the door. So you have a total of 10 components. And you can continue to look. If you'd like, you can do another investigation roll and we'll come back to you.
Yep, I will.
Klaus, what would you like to do?
Yeah, look for components and ammo.
Components and ammo. All right.
Not ammo. The stuff that recharges
the
plasmas.
hypos. Yeah. The hypos. All right, you can go ahead and roll me investigation, please.
Okay.
Oh, and if you'd like to roll a d4 to see what room you stick around in.
All right. So that is a 23.
Okay.
And 4.
4. Interesting. Odds or evens?
Evens.
It is indeed evens. All right, so you go to the right-hand side of this room, and it's quite the same setup as the side that Bambi went into. Very, very wide open space. But in this case, you pass by the glass setup and into this secondary exhibit, and the most notable first thing you see is kind of like this hall of fame of influential people, and it's a mixture of like wax figures from notable artists and musicians and things that you know from the surface. So there's definitely some of that. There's a lot of faces that you don't recognize, and if you look at all of the nameplates and things like that, some of them say like Exodus's most brightest singer, Exodus's most promising young scientist, things like that. So very much like in honor of the people who worked here. It's very much centered around keeping the glory of the beautiful minds of Exodus in a way. So yeah, there are definitely some people that you would recognize from Topside, actually, but not very many of them. You can see the same kind of thing. There are trash cans and potted plants and decorations and things like that. You look through them. With a 23, you said you're looking for components and hypo, right? So you find, with a 23, I would say you find some components. I rolled well for you. So you find 36 components.
Dang.
Tucked into some of these cans, garbage cans, potted plants. You know what? You might even find something like tucked into a pocket of one of these clay figures, the wax figures, things like that.
Nice.
Yeah, and the clothing that's on these wax figures actually looks like very top quality. Like it looks like these are genuinely nicely made threads. Obviously they're, a little bit dusty and dirty from being here for so long and no upkeep. But yeah, they look like pretty nice clothes.
Any of them about Niklas's size?
You're really gonna strip the wax figures, huh? Yeah, I'm sure you can find someone that is relatively your size. Maybe perhaps a gentleman wearing a nice suit jacket or something of that type. Why not?
Okay, yeah. Klaus is gonna steal a suit.
Meanwhile, Bambi looks across the way and sees you undressing a mannequin and is like, what the hell is happening?
Bambi would just be like, oh,
I'm
he's
uncomfortable,
that
but
kind
also
of
turned
sexual.
So, what did you say? Both of you were talking at the same time, sorry.
Oh, Bambi would just be like, oh, he's that kind of sexual.
Bambi be here like, I'm uncomfortable, but also turned on.
Oh my god.
If Klaus noticed, they'd just be like, what? It's not like he needs them.
You'd have to yell that across the way because this is very large.
Oh, he would.
Very large area.
Would
Okay.
absolutely do that.
You can continue and do another sweep if you would so choose to. I will need another odds or evens roll for you and another investigation. Pepper, what would you like to do? Are you looking for things?
Yeah, well, she didn't exactly get a chance to walk around and see the sights. She was so excited, but they kind of were railroaded into, let's go here right now.
Yeah.
So now that they're getting a chance to walk around before they go fight this boss, so to speak, she actually does. She wants to go around and see things and I guess investigate. She's very interested in things like that perhaps were once light and sound, perhaps a carousel, things like that.
Yeah.
Those old casino machines, things like that.
So you're staying down in the bottom floor, are you, with like
Yes.
the casinos and stuff? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, I will only require a roll for investigation. Did I already ask you that? No, I don't think so.
Well, I got a 12 plus 9. So
12 plus 9, so a 21.
21.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you take a walk around on the bottom floor. In order to get into that main casino, you would have to go around the back where Vixen initially showed you. There's no entry into the front of that. So in terms of that and like the sounds associated with that, you'd have to go around. The other things that are available here are Vixen's Lounge and Bambi's Lounge, obviously. Restaurants are the next thing up from the lounges, and then clothing stores as well. So there don't seem to be any sort of like, I guess, if not child, family oriented options for like carousels and things like that. There doesn't seem to be any of that. It's more so like a very adult centered offering of things. And I know I don't mean adult in a weird way.
I know. Although there probably is some sort of like burlesque bar.
Oh, yeah,
Look
definitely.
at Vixen and Bambi's bars.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah. Something probably like that. It might even be in one of their lounges, like on certain nights. They would probably have certain girls do performances like that. But those are the two main lounges that you'll find in the entertainment district. So anything like that would be performed there.
So so probably like a casino then, like casino machines or things like that that used to be beautiful, like the way that the casinos were laid out. There was actually, I imagine it's like one of those fancy casinos because there's two kinds of casinos. There's ones that are just all crazy patterns and it's like a maze, and then there's the ones that are luxurious and they're literally called the adult playground, and the ones with the chandeliers and the mirror vaulted ceilings and things like that.
Yeah. Because this is the main hub, I have a feeling that that's what you would have found in this main casino, the one that's blocked off in the front. Now, that being said, if Pepper wants to go and check it out and see like all that old stuff in there, she's certainly welcome to do so. You can go back in through Vixen's Lounge and come out into that main space from behind where the wooden planks were across.
Sure, let's say that's where she goes.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Yeah, you're able to find all of that. Some of the chandeliers and things like that are, of course, naturally in disrepair. But still, you still get that sense, that kind of, the grandeur of something like that is still there. All of these places, really, despite.
I imagine she's just staring at the ceiling and like whirling around to look at it.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys didn't really have any time to really stick around and look at this stuff before. It was just kind of a quick in and out. So yeah, Pepper can definitely spend some time there. Sorry, what did you say you got for your investigation?
21.
21. And I rolled this for you. So you find, if you dig around a little bit, you can find like in some of the cash drawers and the machines that are busted open, things like that, you find a handful of change, $25 that you can pull from all these little pieces and things. You find, I'd say maybe 10 different components that could potentially be used to fix up your elephant gun or whatever. But yeah, you can spend some time kind of taking in the sights there. And then Bambi, what's Bambi up to now? So she's up in the abstractor, right?
Yeah, she's still rooting around and stuff. She's looking for Abel or Kane to refill Abel.
Okay.
Or however that, my brain's not working tonight. And I rolled a 26.
All right. So you are in fact able to find, coincidentally, Abel.
Yay!
You find a little syringe that is hidden. It's actually hidden behind a piece of abstract art, as if somebody had stashed it there for later and intended to come back for it, but never did. Mm-hmm. So you're able to fish that out and take that with you.
All right. And I am going to use that.
Absolutely. You can go ahead and consume that item. So kind of like we discussed before, I would assume that this particular mixture, it definitely probably has some sort of chemical that's specific to the worms that the cane is harvested from. So it does have something in it that reacts with that. But for the most part, it's like largely electrolytes and sugars and things like that boost the energy that's used for these plasmids. Cool. So you're able to kind of feel that sense of rejuvenation a little bit as it kind of filters through your system and makes you feel a little bit better. And then whatever chemical is distilled from the cane itself, that kind of scratches that little itch of the symptoms that you feel normally. It kind of soothes them a little bit.
Cool.
Yes, Raven, it is absolutely special Gatorade. Now with extra worm juice, I guess.
Cool. Consuming that gives me. I'll just look it up again. Never mind.
It's a full use, so you get your full number of uses back.
Okay, is that for both or just for one? Because I have siren and telekinesis now.
Right. Extra cocaine. 1 vial per plasmid, so you can choose which one you would like to replenish.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Done skis.
And then back to Klaus for a moment. You had odds. And what did you roll again? Sorry. Do you remember?
18.
18. All right, so I rolled for you. You only find 3 components on this side. However, okay. You do unlock a special event. And this is just
fun.
This is just for kicks and giggles because it was initially a part of the story that I had intended to look at earlier, but unfortunately we don't have time to really delve into this. So I'll just give this to you as like a little side thing. But
I
as
unlocked
you're
a cutscene.
pretty much, yeah. It's you can interact with this if you so desire.
Okay.
You're looking through this sort of Hall of Fame, and it's quickly becoming like this. It's almost like a museum, right? Fashion in memory of certain people. You've got equipment there that these people would have used, anything surrounding their lives, like specific microphones and scientific tools, things like that. So it's very, very solidly laid out, like these people's lives, why they're in this Hall of Fame, things like that. As you kind of meander around a little bit, you get to this section that is specifically dedicated to fashion. And like the fashion of the era, the fashion of Exodus, the fashion of Topside, how they kind of intertwine and where the influence came from, and how Exodus fashion differs from Topside fashion, things like that. As you are doing so, you pass by this one particular wax figure. And as you pass by, you go, wait a second. And then you back up a little bit and you look at this wax figure and it blinks. And a gentleman starts moving and he sees you kind of back up and look at him and he starts to laugh. He doesn't move from his spot like he's pretending to be a wax figure, but he distinctly starts to laugh.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Sander Cohen from the BioShock games?
Yes.
This was supposed to be the part where you met like the Sander Cohen inspired character.
Oh my god. I'm fucking here for this.
Yeah, so he's there. He's laughing. Klaus, you can kind of see him like try to stop his laughter and go back to being a wax statue. But it's clear that he's having a lot of fun and he can't like stop himself from giggling.
Klaus just gets up like right in his face and like boops him on the nose. Just staring intently.
You see him continue to struggle to hold on to his composure. And then he stills again and he doesn't blink.
Klaus just sort of like gives him a knowing look and nod, just like, oh, okay. Thumbs the word, got it.
Do you leave him there and go about your way?
Yeah, Klaus leaves him alone.
Yeah.
He's like, I see what you're doing, Nick. Okay.
You continue on your way. You look for different trash cans and potted plants again. You're able to find 6 more components, which you can use downstairs if you'd like. And by the time you loop back around after ruffling through some more pockets, you see that the place where this gentleman was standing is now empty, and there is a gap between 2 of the wax figures. You can't see where he's gone. There's no indication if he's still here, but he is no longer standing there, and you do not visually see him.
Okay.
But you know what? Given the whole interaction, you don't really feel like he's a threat. It doesn't give off the sensation that he's hiding and waiting to ambush you or anything like that. He's just gone.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Klaus just gives a little chuckle and, keeps going about his business.
His name is Thomas M. Baudelaire, if you were wondering. And
yes.
I was really excited to see if we could squeeze him in. So I'm just happy that you got to see him.
Love that.
Yeah. But yeah, so are you guys done looking around? Would you like to do another investigation roll? Totally up to yourselves.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
I think B's done.
Yeah. And Pepper?
Yeah,
did you have something else?
Yes. Did you have something?
Oh,
else?
Bambi's done skis.
Okay,
No.
cool.
No.
And then Pepper.
I've got nothing.
She's
Okay.
bored.
Just let my puppers eat something, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something that Vixen can offer from the lounge. Probably some like old snacks, cans
Or,
of
like,
things.
Find a corpse to eat.
Yeah, that
There we
too.
go.
Vixen like offers the dogs a bottle of whiskey or something. Like this is the only thing she has. Do you guys have enough components to upgrade another? Did you want to do that? Or?
I think so. I need to look at the book and stuff, or the document and stuff. But
The lowest tier, the tier 1 modification, is 25 components.
yeah, I've got like, what is it now? 63 now. So
Okay, yeah, the tier 3 is 65, so I'm sure
Yeah, I would be at tier 3 for my grandpa's antique hunting rifle. So
okay, well,
no.
we can, considering we're going into combat, if you would like to.
I do not have the
Um,
parts for that.
I would like to, but we're like wrapping up this particular session pretty soon. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah, so
I
we're
will-
just going to do some last prep. So if you want to do it before next session, now would be the time.
Okay, yeah, and then Klaus will work on stuff now in game time. Out of game time, I'm just gonna look at the book and figure
Yeah.
out what exactly those are.
There's
before
only a
next week.
couple of options that I've listed in the book, mainly some tier 1 and 2. So if there's anything in particular that you would like to have, or even based off what's already there, we can just add it to it. Like, I'm not picky, whatever you want to do with it.
Okay.
Accuracy and swiftness are the 2 examples that I have, because I think that's probably going to be most useful. But if there's like something different that kind of picks your fancy, then we can certainly look into it.
Okay.
But
sounds
yeah,
good.
so we'll say that everybody gets their modifications taken care of. You guys have kind of looked around a little bit. Klaus, do you tell anybody about your fancy little interaction there?
No, Klaus just keeps that to himself.
It's just your and Thomas's little secret.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. So once everybody kind of comes back to the same area, Vixen waits for everybody to be good to go. And as you guys kind of file out into the main lobby, she locks back up her little hidey hole. And Anastasia looks from person to person. Everybody's settled in, ready to go, has all their weapons ready. And she just gives one definitive nod as she turns around and starts to lead the way back out of the entertainment district and back towards where the medical pavilion is. And that's where we're going to wrap up today.
Love that.
Dun, dun, dun.
I feel like we got a decent amount done today, which was really interesting.
Yeah. That was
Awesome.
We
great.
did. We were very successful today.
We had some fun, had some battle. Nobody died. I had to use a crit because the dice were with you guys and certainly not with me. So all in all, I think very interesting session. Nice way to kick off the season.
I agree. The dice wanted Castillo to die.
Apparently they did. I
Yeah,
will not allow that to happen.
that would be rough. Bambi would just
Yeah.
like, oh well, I guess I've lost my shit. Gonna kill everything.
We're gonna go on a raid here pretty soon, since we're wrapping up. But before we do, I want to let everybody say their favorite part, where folks can find them, and anything they'd like to share or plug. Starting with V.
I was zoned out for a second there, but we've answered the questions enough for me to know what you asked. In terms of favorite part, I assume that's what you asked.
Yep. And I totally get that too.
I just completely zonked out for a minute, and you said V, and I was like, what? But yes, it's not my first rodeo. So in terms of favorite part, like I said, just the fact that we got through a lot today, like it was really nice. The interactions with John were very interesting, just because, like I said, if you had initially walked in there and asked him, he would have offered you the deal right off the bat, and you wouldn't have had to kill anybody or attempt to murder people. But I guess, with Klaus, exactly, with Klaus being Klaus, where's the fun in that? But he does get to have his fun now. It's not John Castillo at the other end. So that's fantastic. The dice trying to kill my poor John. I wasn't about to let that happen. So I'm very thankful that I had that crit there today. And thank you, Raven, for kind of explaining how you typically do it. It is my first time GMing. I had no idea what I was supposed to do there. So that was a learning moment for me as well. I will keep that in mind for future. And then, of course, the little moment with Thomas, Mr. Baudelaire. Just this, the concept of him miming being a part of this exhibit, and then just not being able to contain himself and then disappearing. He said, "Peace out. Have a good day. I'm not here."
That was fun.
Yeah, definitely interesting. The image as well of, I had a lot of favorite pieces today. I don't know why, but the image of the glass installation, the glass installment, I've seen similar things like that in museums when I've gone. And that to me is just, it's the coolest. I love glass pieces and I love art installations like that. So that was very interesting for me to kind of visualize in my head. And I hope you guys found it cool as well and were able to visualize that with me. So that was interesting. As for where you can find me next, today is Wednesday. I will be here tomorrow for the start of the season of Star Wars, where I play Anakata, who is a Dark Force using Togruta. Perhaps who might be fine with her crew. That's very cryptic, but you know what? We never know what's going to happen with Anaka. She might blame injuries on snakes that can apparently use the Force. Who knows? And then Saturday, the opening for Animus Vicentis, which is a phenomenal game, and I'm very excited for that to come back as well. Going into season 4, isn't it, Raven?
Yep, season 4.
Season 4. We've been doing this. We're veterans at this point. We've been doing it for so long, but it's such a fantastic show. And if you haven't caught up, or if you haven't started watching it, anything like that, I would highly recommend it, not just because I'm in it and Raven's in it, but just because it's a genuinely really cool story. And the cast is absolutely phenomenal and everybody has so much fun every week. There's drama all the time, but somehow we managed to get through it. And I'm sorry for talking so much today. I had so many good things to point out. And as for me, you can find me on my art Twitter. I'm at Peppero Draws. That's Pepper like the candy. You can check out my work. Stop by, say hello. I always like making new friends, so if you'd like to chat, stop on by. And that's me. I'll stop talking now.
You're totally good. Thank you. Yes, same questions. Favorite part, where can folks find you? Anything you want to share or plug?
My favorite part is Pepper trying to talk to Johnny Castillo. I was very delighted with that. I enjoyed it very much. Of course, the game is always amazing, and there's plenty of other incredible parts, but that one's the one that stuck out to me. And, you guys rhyming. That was pretty great, too. You can find me on Friday DMing the first episode of Neon Devils Season 2, which is an entirely new set of characters, a little bit forward in the Neon Devils world. And I'm so excited about it. You have no idea. I've been thinking about this project for months. So, super stoked. Hope you guys check in or tune in Friday at 12 p.m. Mountain Standard Time and come watch the deep shit that everybody is starting in. It's gonna be great. Yep.
I'm so looking forward to that.
And don't worry, Yaz, Bambi will have her moment, I'm sure.
Yes.
Johnny Castillo is not out of play yet, so she might.
You
have
know
her
what? By
time
the
to shine.
time she gets back to Johnny Castillo, that love's gonna be gone. Just saying.
hold on to it just a little bit longer.
A
Just
little bit
tiny
longer. All right, it's so you can crush her spirit, isn't it?
I'm neither confirming nor denying.
Well, you have my
I
full
just think you should
consent to
hold on.
ruin her.
That sounds
Anyways.
suspiciously like a confirmation.
Listen, I'm just looking forward to a wholesome and heartwarming reunion between two long lost lovers. That's the long and the short of it. It's going to be such a beautiful moment. Just the most wholesome of reunions, and I can't wait to see it. I'm so
I've
excited.
heard you bullshit a lot of things, but I think that takes the cake.
Yep.
I have no idea what you're talking about. To be honest
Of
with
course
you.
not.
No.
Anything else you want to share?
Whatever,
Plug?
whatever you say. Sorry.
You're good.
I stalled out for a second because I just had the very, very vivid image of Bambi beating the ever-loving shit out of him with her heels.
Oh, I love that. That needs to be a thing.
Okay. Anyways, continue. Sorry, interrupting.
No, it's your turn to talk. Is there anything you'd like to share or plug?
Oh, you know what? I'll put my website in there one more time. You can find me at studio-tart.com if you're interested in any of my artwork or any of the projects that I'm doing. Bam! There you go.
Awesome. Rowan, same questions. Favorite part? Anything you want to share or plug? And where can folks find you?
Hi. I think my favorite part was whenever Pepper becomes self-aware, it's always really funny. Because most of the time she isn't. Like, she's more bumbling at other times than others. I don't know if you've noticed. And that's fully intentional. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Bambi finally being fucking done with their bullshit.
She has been
you've been-
pushed around the whole time.
You've been the fact that she kept up with it for so long was, it's like, yeah, of course anyone's gonna be at a breaking point. So I'm glad that she finally got there.
Yeah. Me too.
So
I'm excited for what
yeah.
comes next.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I tease Bambi and do these things to her, she's very much a character that I enjoy, and I'm very happy that she decided to stand up for herself. So
Yeah. 3 cheers for Bambi.
yeah. So that was my favorite part. And was where you can find me next. I am also in the Devils Part 2. And I'm very excited about it. We've been kind of discussing my character on the side here when it wasn't our turn in the roleplay. Like, okay, here's the ideas and trying to finalize that. And I'm really excited to see what happens.
It's gonna be cool.
Uh-huh. So yeah, aside from that, you can find my stuff at rowannorthillustrations.org. I finally posted my handmade paper, or at least the 5x7s. I'm still fixing up the 8x10s, getting them all nice. I'm going to be starting to post individual paints from my last couple sets as well. So if you want to try like maybe one of my colors and things like that, I'll be doing that. Plus I'll be doing some art supplies grab bags or art ephemera grab bags for like junk journals and scrapbooking. That was also going to happen. Yeah, lots of really fun things to look forward to on my website. So check that out at rowannorthillustrations.org.
Awesome. That just leaves me my favorite part. I really enjoyed the interactions with John. The sort of just like laughing about everything. It was a lot of fun. The whole encounter was was just enjoyable and odd in a good way. And definitely the trying to sort through John's pockets and Klaus and John trying their best not to make it awkward, and then all of the players doing their best to make it awkward. That was a lot of fun.
I'm just sad that you didn't get to stick your hands in his ass pockets. Nothing smells like disappointment than, you know, you missed your opportunity to put your hands in his pants. That's all I'm saying. I was rolling to see at what pockets you would be able to get to, and unfortunately, you stopped right before. I would have probably assumed that he'd have it in one of his ass pockets, so I just rolled well enough to stop you before you got there.
Oh my god. Yeah, the whole thing was very fun. Where you can find me next, I'll be GMing Elite Babe Beskar tomorrow at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, which is our Star Wars game. We're starting into Season 2. I'm very excited about that, to see where things go from here. We're also picking up a new character. Same players, but one of them is playing a new character, and it's going to be really interesting. So definitely check that out. I know a little bit about the character already, and you're really going to want to see it. It's pretty great. Aside from that, Friday at noon Mountain Time, I'll be playing Tilda in Neon Devils 2, which I'm extremely excited about. And then Animus at 6 p.m. on Saturday. And then next week, we'll be adding into that normal schedule Welcome to Madison on Friday night at 6 p.m. and Necrobiotic at noon on Saturdays. Other things to share or plug are sponsors. Fundamental RPG, which is a really cool, simple D20 system that empowers players and GMs to tell their stories the way they want to. There's no classes or anything like that. And essentially you can just build your character however you'd like on any genre that you would like. We're running 4 shows on this system this season. Tuesday nights are high fantasy. Wednesday nights, once we're through with Exodus here, it's going to be paranormal investigation. Friday nights is surreal horror. And then Saturday nights is Animus, which is sci-fi. So as you can see, you can run it anything from high fantasy to sci-fi and everything in between on this system. It's pretty cool. But you can pick up a copy at Amazon. Just search for Fundamental RPG or Raven Evermore. Or you can go to coffee.com/raven/shop, like it says at the bottom of the screen. Just add /shop to the end. For the PDF version, you can also get free downloadable character sheets there as well. Also at that same website, you can find Intrepid, which is adventuring gear for real life. So it is apparel and accessories, drinkware, so like water bottles and mugs and things like that. A whole bunch of things of various natures with a tabletop or adventure theme. So it's very cool stuff. You can check that out there. And then finally, Die Hard Dice, who sent me this really cool rainbow set this month. You can pick up your own copy of the Prismatic Rainbow set at dieharddice.com. And then you can also get 10% off of your whole order by using the code BlackFeatherMay. That's all one word, capital B, capital M. So that's our sponsors. And then if you would like to catch up on this show or any others that we have on the channel, you can do so at the Fantasy Network. Just go to watch.thefantasy.network, look for Stream Library, and then Blackfeather Guild. And that is where all of our previous content is located. There is a lot of it, so you can catch up on everything. I think Animus alone, we have over 112 hours of content on there just for Animus, because we're coming up on episode 50 for that show. So there's a lot of really cool stuff. You can check it all out there. And I think that's everything. So yeah, we've got our raid cry, which is, if you can't smile and laugh about getting shot, then what's the point of life? And we're going to go raid Zombie Orpheus, a fellow Fantasy Network team member. They're doing Void Jumpers right now, which looks like a really cool show. I haven't had a a chance to check it out myself because our times overlap. But I've heard really good things, and the little bits that I've been able to catch look really cool. So definitely go check that out. Give them a follow and a hi if you're not following them already, and throw the raid cry out there in chat. And then I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.